All right, we're all set, guys. So we've gone through, we've done a base manipulation. I've got my minimum sort of 3 layers of manipulation in place, and it's time to distribute. So what we're going to do is that last phase of the workflow that we talked about in class. Uh, Basically, we need to resize and compress often for different outputs. So in our project scenario, take a look at it. There's some specifics. So the first I'll use is kind of a standard print scenario. And let's say that I want this, my client says they want this to be 6 inches by 6 inches at 300 pixel per inch. So I need to crop the image and rebuild. I'm going to use the crop tool for that. So we'll go to the upper left, just grab the crop tool, one of the most introductory tools you need, common thing you need to do. And there are other tools for cropping and resolution adjusting out there than Photoshop. In fact, some of that stuff can actually be automated on a lot of websites when you submit images to it. But that said, I'm going to choose under crop width by height by resolution. And here I can dial in exactly what I want. So it should be default out to inches. So if I said my 3 inches by 3 inches example, let's see if it's putting pixels. No, it is going to pixels. So I'm going to do 3 IN by 3 IN. And then I can set how many pixels per inch that I want. For my print example, I'll do 300 pixel per inch. Then I can move the crop window around to gather what I want to. And then commit. I can just hit return to commit. Double click. All right, so double clicked in. If I go to image from the menu and check size, I should see that, yes, this is now at in inches, 3 inches by 3 inches at 300 pixels per inch, which gives me that 900 by 900 pixel base. And my file is going to end up being smaller because of that too, eventually when I save. So I've done a size and resolution adjustment. Now it's time to save in a compressed format. I'm just going to do a save as for the print version. And this might be the example of something you would upload to a stock site or some specific desire that a client wants, but I'll give it to them in JPEG instead of a working format like Photoshop. And I'm going to save this out to my project that I'm working with. I have some specific dimensions I want in yours with file naming, so make sure you check that out. But I'll just set this up to be the 3 inch by 3 inch at 300 ppi. So it's listed. Kind of put that in the file name, and I'll save this out. And I'm fine with a large quality file, but it will take it down to about 500 kilobytes, so that's going to be smaller. Now in yours, it's also asking you to go through and save in other formats, other sizes. What you're going to want to do before you do that is make sure you go back to your original version. So I'm going to go back to my history. You see my history tab. I have it saved. The crop state has been saved. I've thrown away pixels. I don't want to resave it again. I want to go back to my good quality one with all my pixels before I do that. So I'll say open, go back to it. And now I'm going to do a crop and then a save for web. So what I'll do with this crop is I'm not really too concerned about resolution because the save for web function is going to do that I'm going to use for this specifically. Save for web typically saves out to 72 ppi, which is what a lot of screen-based devices start as a base. The fact is today with a lot of different output devices, we have range of resolutions. So typically they're serving larger physical pixel dimensions versions of files for different devices. But for our purposes, we're just going to kind of stick with one. So I'll say, let's say that we wanted a 300 pixel by 300 pixel. I'll dial in 300 pixel by 300 pixel, and I'll just leave the native resolution in place. Do my crop first. I'm then going to run the file, export, and save for web is under legacy. I still like to use it for certain stuff, particularly like mobile output. So file, export, save for web will come up. And what I can do is switch between the original and then check my compressed version for output. And we should see a difference in file size. We can choose all sorts of different compressed formats. So I'll choose my JPEG because that's what's required for this project. and go in and dial. I should be able to take this down. I think I have it below 75K or so that we want for a couple of the examples, but I can go in and basically just dial the quality down until I hit my range, or up until I hit my range that I'm looking at. So this comes in, really compressed. I'm well under it. I'm taking it down from a quarter of a megabyte to, roughly 50 kilobyte right here, and I can save this out. And here I have the same choice as I did before. I can name the files and save them. So I'm going to go to my project that I was working with and save mine out. .300 pixel by 300 pixel. So I know what I'm working with. We'll save it. Jump back to my project. And here are the files that I have. I have my source. I have my edited image in Photoshop format, which is really big. And then I have my two compressed versions. So I have my kind of print compressed version at about half a megabyte, and then nearly 10 times smaller is going to be my web converted image for a different delivery. So basically, make sure you follow the specifics on that project, but that's the output for distribution that we're going to use this far. When we get further in the course, we'll take a look at preserving transparency and making buttons manipulatable elements.